13th floor. The 13th floor.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I am your stand-in moderator. I don't know how long I'll be standing in. We got our true moderator, B. Jones. He's out there adulting with his new job, putting in many hours in his project management position. So we wish him the best, and we'll hold it down until he gets back. I got my guys here today, starting with Mr. Logistics, Brian Jones.
Hey, what's good, everybody? Glad to be back.
Hit you with the government.
Promise you,
I saw that.
I promise you could just like copy that and paste it in, and like you say the same thing every time.
I know.
Consistency.
Because I ain't been here. I take breaks.
Logistics is about consistency, baby.
Right,
Exactly.
right. Going to my main man, Deacon Rubra, Mike D.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on, folks? How everybody doing?
And of
different
course,
spot today.
What'd you say? Happy to be in the spot today?
In a different spot, got a different background. We got
He got the light shining on him, showing all that light skinnedness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if y'all can't hear him, at least y'all can see him if you tune into the YouTube.
Yeah, that's a whole childhood thing. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, no light skin jokes. No light skin jokes.
And Mr. Dependable, Mr. Consistency, Mr. Here every week for the people, DJ Barry B. Fresh.
Hey, just like Dwayne, I am the Rock, baby. We here, we ready. Let's get it. Stay tuned in, baby.
And as I said, I am your stand-in moderator, Coach K. And we're going to kick this thing off. Fellas. I got to ask y'all, man. So when did it happen for you guys? So probably Mike and BJ. So I learned this week the hard way of what happens when your wife takes your child to the store and she makes the tragic mistake that you will forever now be held accountable to by your child. So my son, and I'll let you guys guess what happened. We go to the grocery store and we get to the cart and he throws a fit. Why did he throw a fit?
Because she either carries him around or she puts him in the front of that cart or let him ride on the thing.
Close. So you know how they have the ones for the kids with the special seat and like they got that little steering wheel and all that stuff, and it's like like a half size bigger than all the other carts.
Yeah, pretty much.
So she's been putting him in that. So now all of a sudden now that's what he wants to do. So if we go someplace and they don't have it, he's throwing a fit. And I'm just like, dude, come on.
Look what you started.
Yeah, and that thing is not
the bar is so high.
That thing is not convenient at all. Like it doesn't turn well.
That thing's like 3 carts. It's like so big and awkward.
You can't put no groceries
like,
in it.
Everybody's looking like, look at this idiot.
Right. I used to look at people like, look at you with this huge thing going down the aisle.
And your kids up there snatching stuff out the front of the car, like, oh.
So I'll be transparent. We used to get 2, so it's like it was good. Des didn't want to get it. They didn't really have for her. But with Michael and Yasmin, we put them in one and send them on a mission. And then somebody else got the real cart going through the grocery.
Go do the real shopping.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd be the mission driver. Like we end up in the clothes, we end up in the back where all type of stuff.
That's crazy.
She hit me up on the phone like, all right, I'm in line. And then we meet up in line.
I learned early. Just go by myself.
Y'all stay.
I go to the store at midnight if I got to, like Myers and Kmart.
All right. When you need to buy, all right. Mr. Logistics.
There you go, baby.
Hey, listen. So for me, you know, I'm probably home by myself with Asher probably 2 to 3 days out of the week. So I have to find things to do just to get out the house. So we're always making some type of trip somewhere to the store or something. If the weather's good, you know, we go to a park or whatever. But it's been a very interesting time. I will say that. So I'll put you guys on to something else funny that happened to me. And for those of you, all of you know me for a long time. So, these things happen to me that used to happen regularly. Now they're kind of spaced out. So I'm going to work, and right next to work, we have this little grocery store called Earth Fair. And I usually go there and grab some water or whatever it is for the day. So I'm sitting in the car because I was listening to something. I'm sitting in the car, and all of a sudden there's a tap on the passenger side on the glass. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on? Yup, that's exactly what I did. So, I cut that glance over to the right, like, what is happening here? And there's a lady out there, and she has a pamphlet in her hand. So I already know what's going down.
It's a watchtower.
I roll the window down. Sure enough, it's a watchtower. And she's just like, oh, we're out today talking about the future. Do you ever think about the future? And I'm like, ma'am, right now, I am thinking about this moment that's happening right now. And she was just like, oh, you must be going through something. So she kind of like tosses the watchtower, because I didn't put the glass all the way down. She like tosses the watchtower in, and is just like, okay, well, just read that and it'll lead you to your Bible. And like, she's standing there, and I just reached over and slowly turned the window up on her. And just watched her, right? So let me ask you guys this question. What role do you think, whether it's the Kingdom Hall, the church, the synagogue, the mosque, what role do you guys think those establishments play today?
Anybody want to?
BJ, you go first.
So I think it definitely has a place. And again, I respect the fact that everybody has a different upbringing. Everybody has a different view on the world as we see it, the world that we live in. But for whatever reason, if it's a place where somebody finds solace in finding their own way to cope with or to deal with or to make it through life and is a better person because of it, I can't fault it. I'm not going to judge that person. I go to church. I'm a Christian. I've been in church for years now, and my family, we get up pretty much go every Sunday that we're in town, or if we're out of town, we can make it. But that's my and our family's choice to do that way and worship that way. As far as missionaries working out and about, I don't believe that you need to stand on the street corner and expel everything from mouth and tell people they're doing this or they're doing that or not doing this, whatever. I believe by the life you live should set the example of whatever you should do. That being said, though, I try to respect everybody, and even more so nowadays, because if eventually for that situation with the Jehovah's Witness in the Watchtower, when my sister got married, she converted to Jehovah's Witness. And I know that her and my niece and nephew and my brother-in-law go out. So my way of dealing with nowadays is at least answering and telling them, like, look, be respectful. I don't appreciate it. I don't want that word. That's not what I believe in. That's not how I was raised. I respect you, because I wouldn't want somebody to do that to my family, right, and not disrespect them when they're out as well. So that's my way of dealing with situations like that.
Yeah, and I think, in the past, I would have had a different response. But I also think in that particular moment, like, hey, you're putting yourself in danger by just walking up in the parking lot early in the morning and knocking on my glass. You don't know who I am, what I'm capable of. So, I mean, granted, your faith is probably real strong and you feel protected and, okay, I respect you for that.
There's protected and there's dumb, though. Just call it spade a spade.
Exactly. So my thing is, okay, obviously it's not like I'm driving a hoopty or whatever, but would you have been as willing to walk up if I was driving a hoopty and maybe I looked a little gritty? Would you have still came up and tried to share about the future with me? And I don't know, maybe she would have, but
I think it's always more location than it is. I guarantee, had you been in that same spot in less attractive car, looking in a sweatsuit and a hat, she still would have knocked on that window just because it was the area that she's in. I feel they are very renegade with if they're in it, they in it. Like they will this the street, these houses, let's go. Like they go hard.
9 o'clock every Saturday morning.
Yeah.
At my old house.
Get it in. Me, I'm definitely more spiritual than religious. While I do understand the strength of, church and all of those great things, I personally just wind up getting caught up in the hypocrisy that goes on it. That it's I feel that there are people who need that. I don't want to call it 13th grade, but you need that outside of school. There is no place of unity and gathering of like minds. Once you get into the workforce, you start understanding how little society really does care about you, right? And so having a place that you can go where you feel there's a connection in order to be moving, in a similar movement, you get that same feeling that you had in school, where there's that unity, there's a purpose, and there's definitely an importance of having that, in some people's lives. So there's definitely a reason for it, and still a strong importance of it. I think that it's definitely though, it's not like it's like shoes, right? Everybody has their own fit. So it's one of those things where you have to be able to understand what's important and needed in your life in order to find which way is best to enrich it, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, I agree. I think just overall kind of it's a personal thing. And I've always had the issue with everybody being in the same building is not there for the same reason. So it has to be more of a daily thing. And I think some people kind of act crazy Monday through Saturday. And then on Sunday, they go for 3 hours and they kind of do what they do. And then they go back to the same way. So it's like he said, the hypocrisy of it. So I remember as a kid always getting yelled at because I would always ask questions because I didn't want to go. I mean, my moms would make me, but I'm like, all right, well, butterflies ain't going, like birds ain't going, like where do they go to church? And she's like, well, you don't get your butt up. But it was the same concept. Like it was just the issue of the principle of it, and it was like it just didn't seem to fit. Like there has to be something that encompasses everything that God created. And then also like my uncle was a pastor, so like I saw the hypocrisy kind of in his life of what he did on a daily basis, and then you hear him from the pulpit be like, "Oh man, you lying? You don't believe that?" Like I know.
I can't imagine how hurt I'd be to be following, to be part of this church for 10, 15 years, and then all of a sudden it turns out the pastor's been, raping, Lord forbid, my daughter, you know what I mean, behind my back, all the crazy things that happen. That I still believe there's a higher power. I'm not 100% sure of what that higher power is, but I know there's an energy out there, and it's just too wild of a playing field when you get into all the craziness that goes into religion and all the other things that they control, and that it's more business than it is really spiritual. That it's just it gets
that's when for me. And that's, I mean, you're exactly right, and that's the problem with religion today. Let's put it religion today, because the hypocrisy amongst everybody, no matter where you go, no matter what religion you talk about, it's going to be there. But that's the point where you get where people are separating. Now they're putting the person before the belief. Mm-hmm. So in that situation where that Mike, your uncle, or Ian, that pastor may be doing something, you find out later on, that's where there's a different. And we had a conversation about this a couple weeks ago, and I don't want to misquote, but it's basically when you look at that person is going to be, because we're human, people are going to fall short of what you think they should be no matter what. I don't care if it's the president. I don't care if it's your mother, your father. At some point in time, everybody's going to disappoint you somehow, and at varying levels. But it's how you believe and how you see things and how you see the world and how you take those and learn from that that's going to make or break your situation. Now, if 15, 20 years and you find out this person has been doing something, that's their character. But what they're doing through those 3 hours on 3 or 4 hours on Sunday with the right message might have been what those people needed at that point in time. You can't take the other however many hours they're in a week and put that on them. That if they mess up, that's on them to do there.
And that's, man, that's such a solid, strong point you just dropped, because I think people get confused. Like, you go in there and that pastor or that imam or that rabbi or whoever, you make them the entity.
Correct.
Well, they're false prophets, right? They're, you know what I mean? If they become on the bad side, but that's what it is that you wind up, you have to, a good speaker can capture your attention and create that connection. That's what it is that people feel that personal connection all of a sudden, where it gets to be, even when you're in those churches where it's, the real pastor is really, only videoed in and only comes to church once every, 2 months or something like that, that even knows that if he's good, he makes that connection that everybody feels like, oh, but that's my pastor, that's that's my guy. And so it's
that's correct. That's the false pretense. And that's what people get led astray.
Yeah. And I think the expectation of that person is so high, and you forget that person is really just there as a vessel to deliver a word to you or to describe a lifestyle to you that you're supposed to live. And we get caught up in all the other stuff, just like the fashion show that occurs in some of the churches. We get caught up in the reason why we're there. And I think the church or religion overall is in a state of transition, just like, business is, just like society is. And I think it's the same struggle in some cases where you have the elders and the way that they came up and what was important to them. And they're still trying to hold on to tradition and what we used to do. And we've always done it this way. And I think that and
even a lot of that stuff is not based. If you're talking about a Christian church, it's not biblically based either. It's the way we've always done it.
Oh, it's more than just a Christian church.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's all.
Yeah, it's all of them. But I think you have to realize that what people need for a spiritual and moral grounding today and why they choose to do so may not be the same reasons that existed in yesterday. And that's something that I think until we get to that point, the numbers will continue to drop, because the numbers are dropping.
You're right.
I don't have stats, but maybe we'll post some by the time this drops on the engagement in religion and spirituality, and not so much spirituality, but in religion. But that's there. And my thing is, look, I don't claim any one particular religion, just because I think religion is nothing but a synonym for language. And I think people speak different languages, and people get caught up in their language and then become intolerant of other people's languages and what they speak. And at the end of the day, there's so much more in common than there is not. But we choose to focus on those one or two things that make us different. And I think as long as we do that, we can never be we can't just be just one human race. We can't just be just one, harmonious family, which, look, we know for monetary reasons, we'll never get to that, because somebody always has to be in power, right? So I think the prevailing religion is money, and nobody really talks about that much. We talk about separation of church and state in this particular country, but they use it when they want to use it to get what they want. So, hey, look, I'm going to cut this one here because we're going to do
this is a whole nother show, honestly.
Yeah, we're going to do a whole nother show where it's just talking about the church as it relates to Black people today. And I think that one is real deep. And I think that one will take us. We'll actually have a special guest on for that one. So that was our serious part. Let's start getting into some of this fun stuff that we normally do. Playoffs. What do you guys think?
I'm about to take it back. See, y'all know it on this one.
Cavs and Warriors, baby. I mean,
Nope.
I don't see. At the end of the day, I think Warriors going to get that back to back because I mean, boy, when them dudes is gassed up, there's really minimal that you can do to really outweigh how many points they can put on the board. Like if you got Durant and Steph and Kyle bussing, it's a wrap.
Yeah, I need the Celtics to win. I'm tired of hearing this Cleveland stuff.
Man.
So just for the listeners out there, at the time that we're recording, both series are 2-1, both series. So by the time you hear this, there'll be some different outcomes. But as of right now, look, I'm just pulling for LeBron. I'm just tired.
Man.
I'm pulling for him not because I'm a Cleveland fan, but just because, like I was just talking about with religion, I think we haven't evolved to what the game is today and what this does day in and day out. And I just want him to get his props. I just want people to finally stop making the comparison of him and Michael Jordan.
Just
give the man his props for who he is.
Yo, he's a great player. Quit hating. That man.
I hate, hate.
But where's that grounded in? Where's that grounded from?
That's grounded from me that's grounded from me from when he was a freshman in high school. So I was coaching at Warrensville community when he was a freshman, and literally the kids that were freshmen were scared of him. Like he was like, "Oh man, he great! Like, oh man, he great! He this, LeBron this." Man, look,
everybody, but he didn't do it. The hype and the media and everybody did that for him,
right? So it's like
they played it up to the kids.
It's the overall hype that there's a continued hype that is put to him that is unwarranted. Like he's good, but like I always look at, like, I get yelled at the barbershop. Like, all right, well, if he is that good at his basketball skill set, take whatever size and strength he has and make him a different size. Is he still that type of a player? So if you look at Kobe, if Kobe is 6'3", Kobe can still be a beast. Kobe got moves. Kobe got skill. Kobe would shoot. Kobe got a whole different basketball skill set. LeBron's skill set is size, strength, power, speed. That's it. Like his jumper is not all textbook. He don't really, like, he can pass. That's probably the best thing he can do just basketball wise. He got great basketball IQ, and the dude can throw a dime. But majority
I'm gonna stretch your basketball my thing. But isn't that why they put Shaq in all them years ago?
It's same thing. Shaq ain't the best big man. Like if you look at Wilt, Kareem, like Bill Russell, like in terms of the great ever, like art between LeBron and Michael Jordan. Like Mike Jordan got beat up on the court, like literally beat up. If you look at some of those Piston games, like he got assaulted. Punches, elbows, like literally taken down. If LeBron gets scratched in the face, the dude fall like somebody shot him.
But that's the game.
But we act like that's not the game today.
But it's exactly. But that don't mean it's
to fault a man for always being put on a pedestal. But LeBron has never shown to be the arrogant jerk that he could be. You know, True. With the status that he's given, the one thing that has always made me respect and follow and like LeBron is from being 18, his first interviews that I was seeing, he sounded like an intelligent young kid who had a focus in what, man, I be beating on the ball and the thing and the dust, you know, we dunk it, dog. Like he had a focus. It was no, let's make it happen. You know, he had a bigger dream. He was really was articulate, and he was never. You don't hear about him getting in trouble. You don't hear about him. The worst thing that has happened since he's been a basketball player is the Miami decision. It's like I respect the magnitude that he sustained, and then when you talk about, you can't fault a man for like he uses the tools he has. He does it, and yes, of course, Kobe at any other size, but that's because Kobe used the tools he had and he copied everything that Michael did. That it was when you really want to talk about a person who made their just took parts of everybody's game as opposed to just carbon copied the greatest player of all time. I respect that, and especially at his size, he's still big and doing his thing.
All right, I didn't mean for this to turn into a LeBron.
But I mean, if you think about it, that's what it is. Like if you look at the coverage of the playoffs, like everything that they've done all season has been Cleveland Cavaliers. From regular season game 1 until now, almost every analyst, every sports show, everything
ain't got nothing going on.
Which is part of the reason why I say it's like if you look at the dude playing against JV teams.
But
like really, like he took the heart of the Raptors.
That's not. But again, at the same time, that's not his fault, and B, it's like you cannot fault the man. Like he's still, at the end of the day, it is still impressive. He does it on his own. Even everybody else that you name, they still have some nice backup that was still there to help them when the chips were down. When it's like, you look at what he's doing with a lot of these teams that are all of their good help is over the hill. They're already on their down slope.
True, because they play against Bud.
All right. I don't want y'all to go down this rabbit hole because this rabbit hole never ends.
But this is sports.
Mike, yes, I got one more question for you though.
Yeah.
Right. So you talk about him falling down because he got scratched and all that stuff.
Yes.
Would you want to play LeBron in a street ball game?
Yes.
You would?
Yes. 1-on-1, I ain't scared of that dude. Let's ball out.
I'm glad that you
get
think
these
that
buckets. Get these buckets,
I'm
LeBron.
If you hear me, that in a regular game where it's not that he's just using the intelligence of knowing that I need to exaggerate these calls so I can actually get them.
Right.
He's going to play that same way, like LeBron's out there in the gym with his homeboys doing them same flops and everything.
Right. Come on, get these buckets, man. I ain't scared of you. You can get handles. You can get these buckets.
I seen you jump from like 4 feet up and like tumble, right?
Hey, I ain't got no problem with that. Hey, it's old school. He can do all he want. Come get these buckets, man. You get done over here. Come back with a nub, dude. He's scared of that dude.
Wow.
And that's part of what it's like. Is that mentality people say like I don't like if you think about
isn't all sports a middle game no matter what?
But it's like everybody gets psyched out. Like the Raptors were like, oh man, we got the unlucky draw. We playing the Cavs. Like they didn't even want to play. They didn't even show up. Like it's like people that the Warriors are not scared.
But is that on the players or is that on the coach?
I think that's on the players. The coach ain't coaching. Like they just got psyched out. It was kind of the same thing you just said.
But that's the coach's job. The coach can't play. The coach's job is to motivate the players, which is ironic because I just heard Master P say that. And random like TMZ came up on him like, hey, you heard the Raptors coach got fired, and since you used to play for the Raptors, you think you would make a good coach for them? And he's like, oh yeah, coach supposed to motivate the players. If it was me, I would have went ahead and motivated D Rose. I wouldn't have set him down that long. And yeah, I make a great coach. I definitely would because I motivate him.
Yeah, tell somebody to punch that dude in the throat like they did at the park. Like it's you can't be scared of people when you go out there. Like this is the fact you say, do you want to play? No, I want to play LeBron big, man. I don't want to play that dude. You'd already lost.
Yep, it's already done.
You're already done. Like you can't be. If you think about it, like his biggest thing, it was a guy named Gerald Wallace. Every time Gerald Wallace would guard LeBron would just back off. Like he never wanted to because Gerald Wallace looked like a straight street thug. Dude had cornrows. It was all he had tats everywhere. Like it's a different mentality when you're not scared of nobody. It's like you can beat me.
But again, that's sports.
But he's not doing that though.
Yeah.
LeBron is not the one doing it.
Yeah, all your hatred
is
based on outside forces that he has no control over. You really just have an issue.
Yeah, I got an issue with him. I love my city. I got the issue with people from Cleveland talking about we. it's deep seated.
Next segment, Carol. Next
Yeah, it's
segment.
deep seated.
Yeah, next segment. Let's roll. Let's roll.
We're gonna talk about Bone Thugs and Harmony next. Hold up.
When I went to UM, people used to ask me if Cleveland talked that fast. It was funny.
Wow.
So yeah, this all go back to Ron Harper, but
It's deep rooted.
It's
All
deep
right.
rooted. It's deep rooted.
Last sports question: is Johnny Manziel gonna make?
See, there you go again with the Browns, man. This is all Cleveland day.
I really hope not.
This Cleveland day.
I really don't think it
He
matters.
gets to play before Cap. That's something crazy going. The world is back.
Look,
For real.
they were gonna again hire Cap at I want to say Seattle was gonna get him, but they said that he had to stand in the contract. They were like he had to stand for the pledge.
No, they actually were supposed to have a meeting with him, and this is almost a month ago, maybe more.
It was a while ago.
They were supposed to have a meeting with him and then canceled it.
I mean, I will be again, and I didn't even really watch NFL this year, but I definitely will be taking an even stronger stance if Mr. Manziel makes his way back after the craziness that he's.
Yeah, I think it'll be a long time before he gets back if he does, though.
Who, Johnny?
Not spend any time there. I just wanted to see if anybody had an opinion. I really wanted to just poke at Mike D.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hey, y'all gonna leave my Browns alone this year though.
But the Browns have picked up 4 or 5 UN players in the last 2 years. 5? We have 5 now, right?
I think it's 5.
Yeah. So no matter what, I got to root for the Browns when they're playing.
Root for the Brown, baby.
Everybody go Browns. 3 wins. That's it. 3 playoffs. Hey,
that's coming from a guy who grew up in Cincinnati, so you know that's deep. That's really deep.
That's real.
That's a milestone right there. They won 3 games in 4 years.
That's like Cincinnati for 20 years. What the hell?
All right, let's leave the Browns alone. We might need them in a future date. Let's leave them alone.
They good people. They understand where they at. They know their place.
Wow.
I love them to death.
Moving right along.
Yeah, moving right along from one thing that I found to be insignificant to something else that, in my opinion, is insignificant: the royal wedding.
Let's move on to another topic. Next.
But I really want to talk about it because a lot of people are saying that, oh my gosh, this is going to be like just changing for Black people. You know, we got a Black woman that's now in the royal court. You know, blah blah blah.
Hey, it's going to be as changing and life altering as Barack Obama becoming president. You know, while it does give some of those females who always wanted to truly be a princess a little bit more hope of, you know, being able to feel that they truly can become, you know, and attain being a real princess or queen and you know, qualified by history, I guess is the best way to put it. At the end of the day, I don't think it's about to change any relations or feelings. I don't know if anybody's seen, there's a picture of the queen where she has one of the stankest looking faces looking over across just like that perfect, great descriptive word. She is scowling at her new daughter-in-law. Negress penetrated my fortress. That you know,
she's like
not gonna be pure no more.
She was like Johnny Tapia's mom. Johnny, is that a Negro?
The whole part, like if you listen to the whole thing, they kept saying it was the African American influence. I'm like, what the heck? It's like just the British influence and the African American influence on the wedding. I mean, she changed gowns 3 times. Like, look at the African American influence on her dress. The heck does that mean?
I will the sons from Diana, their mom, they were built different. And like they weren't built as British, you know, Roy, like they were regular kids. And if you watch a lot of their footage, I don't know if you guys have seen, there's one, I don't know what type of ball or whatever type of professional thing that they had going on at one of these palaces, but these dudes turned it into like you got everybody in their full regalia and stuff, and these cats like are doing this party thing and like dancing and like have like the queen and everybody like doing dances and stuff like that. Like it's hilarious.
They did not have the
down to
queen.
earth and very like cool. There's video of Harry down in Jamaica winding with all types of like they were, in the yard, like winding with all types of chicks and everything. So one thing I have noticed is it's them, it's those two children who are
Right.
grown men now, who the change that their mom put in them in the
love of people.
they had that human touch and wanted to feel the people and be of the people. That's really what made the change, and they're the ones who sparked it, or well, she's the one who sparked it in them that brought us to where we are. But again, at the end of the day, I do not see that it's about to like all of a sudden. Again, it's going to be as impactful and life altering for Black people as it was for Barack to be president.
And it's just so crazy to me. It's like, I mean, social media just went crazy. Like people were just tuned into it, and I'm just like, yo, this isn't something new. We were kings and queens.
There are chicks who can't wake up at 7 o'clock to get to work, who woke up at 5 a.m. to watch that wedding. Crazy.
Yeah, and like
Fact.
I don't. Yeah, crazy. I'm just like, okay, so how long? How long have
I
you
had that conversation too loud in my house because there's two of them in here. So
It's like how long have these people been like just taking advantage of us and whatever, and now finally after all this time, one of them put a ring on it. So woo. And my thing is, on a daily basis, like there are Black kings putting rings on Black queens' fingers.
All types of there was like all of these different at the same time. Within this past week, there were like two African princes who got married and all this other stuff. That it goes on all the time, but all of a sudden now, let's make big issue of this. I guess it's because it's breaking the quote unquote color barrier, but still, again,
I get it. It's historic. I get it. I understand. But let's celebrate our daily victories, like the way that we celebrated that. Let that flood my timeline.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be a whole different world.
It would be, and I guess what does it take to get there?
More than just a
self-love.
Right. Like you got to have a desire to improve your own self, to increase your knowledge, to understand there's like a small piece of time, one that we're in, but there is so much that goes on just throughout the world that is not in mainstream media, that you should be demanding for those other things to be as advertised, as marketed as this was. So the countries of Africa, the countries of people of color, where there are kings and queens that are currently in power and have been in power, they have riches and abundance and intelligence and education. Celebrate that. Like, tell these folks to kick rocks. But it's all
this
about.
Time of year, it's funny because this time of year I love, because when my social media timeline is filled with everybody graduating and getting their bachelors, getting their masters, getting their PhDs, and it's just beautiful, man. And again, I'm not by no means saying that's the only way to measure it, but that's a celebration right there. You're taking a step beyond something, and for a lot of people, it's ending a generational cycle that has been going on. They're trying to do something different. They're trying to do something better. They're trying to do something for them. And wherever they may end up now, for this minute, for this week, for the last like 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, all the graduations been going on, and high school still have to happen. It's just beautiful to celebrate that. Now, when we get to things like the wedding and all that stuff, it's great, but weddings happen every day. How many people and you're happy for them? Again, I'm happy for them. If you found somebody you love, you gonna marry or whatever, you're good. God bless you. Have a great life. But how many people, we can't even support our own people around here that are struggling through their marriages right now? I mean, where's the support system there? So everybody calling them our cousin and this. I don't know how many times I saw a word, that's my cousin up there. He's the new cousin. Like, look, your cousin about to get a divorce down the street. What kind of support you giving her? I know personal people who I saw that, and that's in my head. But hey,
I ain't want to gossip, so you ain't heard.
I ain't feeling that. We use aliases if we want to talk about people, but it was reality. Like they're sitting there celebrating this about like, but your own family is like suffering right now, going through stuff, but like potentially not going to be together again. So what's about helping them and celebrating that personal connection to your family? There's no personal connection here. This is just like wishing the fairy tale stuff. Like, what's reality?
Right. Like I've never gotten close to any of the British royalty. I don't think that that's going to make it. Like, I'm not going to go to the little jerk chicken spot and see my man sitting there with his new wife. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Even
what was the problem though?
It's not going to be like he's going to look at me and be like, oh my God,
Exactly.
you were one of the 9 billion people who were watching me on TV, right? Oh, what's happening?
Just like they rode past all them people, they're going to ride past them again on the other day. And there won't be no way
break out with the hair wrap. She gonna wrap her hair at night. Put the little thing.
Of course,
satin bonnet. Oh, she's gonna have to, man. Her grade of hair, absolutely. My cousin said that she's gonna be bringing products into the palace.
She bringing
products into the palace.
The African pride.
Exactly. That mixed chicks.
The soul glow. Let me see.
It'll be interesting though. Let's see what happens. I mean, so every little thing that happens now is gonna be like
put on blast.
Once she gets pregnant, it's gonna be like, oh,
I heard she's already pregnant.
Oh, really?
I saw that walking through the grocery store aisle.
Hey, same place I saw it. Who knows if it's true?
Yeah, who knows? Who cares? Really?
It's my cousin Cornrow.
Wow.
Well, you know her. Well, I hate that I know this fact, but her dad didn't go to the wedding.
Yeah.
And there was like all types of stuff surrounding because like he like staged some stuff for paparazzi or something and like some other stuff. Yeah, it was.
They say he had a heart attack or something that week.
He'd have some type of surgery or something.
But I think I think that after he I think it was more of that's a good way to kind of be able to make it seem like, oh, that's why he can't travel. Yeah, where it was more like, nah, Pops was trying to figure out some ways to get some money and run some scams and like do some things. And I think it just wound up, you know what? I think it's better we just go ahead and let you stay at home. We'll tell them that's hard issue.
But the one thing that's gonna be sad, and I don't wish it upon anybody, but it's just the way our world is. No matter how many people are celebrating that day, how much hatred is still out there because of this.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still gonna surface between personal attacks via social media. They're probably not mail no more, but all the belligerent things are gonna go on out there because of this whole situation now. So no matter how many people are celebrating, there's still an equal amount of people who can't stand that that's the situation right now, and they cancel each other out.
I was going to say, as far as with the initial question, I don't see them stopping doing things from like throwing bananas at black soccer players at soccer games. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that this is going to be the catalyst of that change. I don't. So that's like the more important factors, right? Is that really going to impact that? I don't think so. I mean, it'd be amazing if somehow it did, but I don't think so.
That would be. It will be. What would be amazing is if they went to a game and it happened and they just like stopped everything. From
And
this
then
moment further, anyone who throws a banana,
you will be beheaded right in the middle of the field.
Y'all ain't got no sense whatsoever, man.
that's Wakanda right there.
Oh, snap.
that'd be hilarious. All right, well, hey, so Memorial Day is coming, and Barry B. Fresh already is working on his new mix.
That was sweet.
So
bro.
please be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely drop a link to that when it comes out. But Be Fresh, the mic is yours, man. Talk about Bitcoin or Barry B. Fresh, whatever you'd like to.
You know what? We about to switch it up. We gonna start a new segment, Fresh in Biz. I'm gonna help some of you entrepreneurs make some choices on what things or strategies you need in order to help your business or your entrepreneurial endeavor actually succeed. One of the first things that you guys can start with is a Facebook page. Some of y'all cannot afford, a good website yet. And yes, you should spend money. You should invest in your future if you are going to take an entrepreneurial endeavor. So you should stop having the mindset of wanting to get things cheap, free, or, for the hookup, and want to make sure that you are building a strong foundation of what you are going to have moving forward. And you want to make sure that you value your structure of your building as much as you want people to value the product or service that you are creating. So a good place to start is a nice, simple Facebook business page. It allows you to display the information about the product or service that you are presenting or looking to execute. And you can go ahead and take sure the biggest thing that you need for your Facebook page is content. How do you get content? It can be as simple as using your phone or mobile device in order to go ahead, take you some pictures, use some testimonials, maybe some people that you've already helped. If you haven't already helped people, then, being able to take some pictures, write down some information of the things that you want to do. All of those are helpful and beneficial in a way for you to start your entrepreneurial endeavor, start making some money, start thinking forward. It starts with one step. That one step today is a Facebook page. Make yourself a Facebook business page, Fresh and Biz, boom, just like that.
Fresh and Biz, I like it.
There it is.
Brett's not here. We rolled out a new segment, and guess what? It's here to stay.
He said cheap, free, or for the hookup.
Cheap, free, or for the hookup. Yeah, man, absolutely.
That's what everybody wants.
Black business.
Ooh.
But,
Ooh.
Message.
Wow. Fellas.
Just on it tonight. Boom, boom, boom.
Drop several mics.
Mike D or PJ, man, either one of you got anything before I close this thing out?
I just said enough.
Man, I just know it's coming to the end of the school year for everybody. I know some kids get out this week, and the next couple of weeks, everybody's getting out. Again, man, just watch all kids, man. You just got there's too much stuff going on nowadays. We had another school shooting last week in Houston. I just pray over your kids. If that's not what you do, just watch over them, look out for other kids, and man, just teachers, educators out there, we understand the struggles you gotta go through. We appreciate you. We love everything you do for these kids. It's just we got to do something as a country, man. It's getting ridiculous that when the kids hear about this and see this, and it's like, well, am I even safe in school? That shouldn't even be a question. But we know the way the world is now, we just got to protect them. We got to protect this generation because too many things, they're exposed to too many things, and too many things that happen right now. So I just feel like over the summer, look out for kids, watch out what's going on, keep an eye out for everybody. Even if you don't have kids, just make it a priority just to keep an eye out and make sure everybody's safe. And don't be scared to talk up, man. If kids are doing wrong, either check them or go get their parents to check them. I know we got some issue with people wanting you to check their own kids, so that's a whole other thing about community, but we'll get back to that another day too. We got too many segments to get back to at some point in time.
Take notes.
Is the community really a community?
Yup. And you can subscribe to the 13th Floor. As you heard, BJ said we have many segments we have to get back to. We would love for you to be there when we do so. You can subscribe to us on SoundCloud, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, iTunes,
anywhere that there's a way
Spotify,
to pass or
Google Play.
We are there with open arms.
We are there waiting for you. And I will close this thing out by saying this. Everybody wants to be great, but nobody wants to do the small increments of what makes great. Being great starts with that next second that you decided you want to be great. Make that next second great, and then start collecting more seconds. Eventually you'll have minutes, you'll have hours, you'll have weeks, you'll have months, years, and then next thing you know, you have a lifetime of great. Stop waiting for that one great funnel. Just that whole flood of great to happen at one time. That's not how it works. Live for the next moment, make that moment great, and you'll end up with a great life.
There it is.
Booyaka shot.
That's our show. Thank you for being here on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best and the views are amazing. You can get up any way you want, but there's only one way down. You got to jump, baby.
Go Celtics.
Yo. Happy birthday, Biggie.
The 13th floor.
Yeah.